Okay, so we're actually going to begin towards the back of the mat. If you are using the blocks, then just bring the blocks towards the front, maybe in on the higher setting, just so that we have them and you don't have to look around for them. We're going to begin lying down on the back, extending the arms away from you, bringing the left knee over top of the right, interlacing the legs, and then dropping the knees over towards the left side. So left leg is on top of the right and it's pulling the right leg down towards the left side, but both of the shoulders are grounded. You can gaze towards your right fingertips if you'd like to here. You can close your eyes for a moment if you'd like to as well. Begin to bring your attention to your breath. Notice what's happening with the neck, with the shoulders, if there's any tension that is building up there. Maybe direct your breath into the part of the body that is feeling a little bit more tense right now. Notice if you can loosen up the inner thighs a little bit. Notice if there's any tension in the forehead, in the space behind the eyes. If you can loosen up the muscles surrounding the jaw, allow the tongue to hang heavy in your mouth. Take a deep inhalation here through the nose, directing the breath into the belly. And exhaling through the mouth. With control, keeping the eyes closed if you'd like to, gently raise the knees back through center, move the head over towards the other side, and as a counter pose, just drop the knees gently over towards the right. Legs remain intertwined in the same way. You can bring even your right hand to the outside of your left thigh if you'd like to. Just make sure that both of the shoulders are grounded. Chest is open. Releasing any tension in the neck, in the jaw, in the forehead. Allowing the upper back to really hang heavy, feel heavy on the floor. The next inhalation, slowly bring the knees back up through center, keeping the legs intertwined. Interlace your arms over your legs and pull the knees in towards you, creating this tiny compression here, feeling the left glute expanding a little bit. Maybe the chin comes in towards the knees. Inhale here, feel the belly pressing to the tops of the thighs. As you exhale, gently unwind, extending the arms away from you. Maybe this time the palms facing up, changing in the way that your legs are interlaced. So the right knee comes on top of the left. And then slowly drop the knees over towards the right side. Maybe you gaze towards the left fingertips. Allowing the legs to hang heavy, making sure both of the shoulders are grounded, chest is open. Inhale deeply through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose. And exhaling through the mouth. With the next inhalation, again, directing the breath into any part of the body that is asking for a little bit more attention this morning. And as you exhale through the mouth, exhale some of those tensions out of the physical body. The next inhalation, slowly bring the knees back up through center. Bring the chin in a little bit towards the throat, elongating through the spine, and then gently drop the knees over towards the opposite side for a bit of a counter pose. Gaze towards your right fingertips if you'd like to. Your eyes can remain closed. You can gaze at the mind's eye, or if you feel more comfortable, you can blink the eyes open. Bring your left hand to the outside of the right thigh if you'd like to go a little bit deeper here. Relaxing the inner thighs, relaxing the glutes. Remaining open in the chest, relaxing any tension in the neck. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. Inhale, slowly bring the knees back up through center, bringing the chin in towards the throat. Unwind the legs, bring hands to the outside of your feet. And with your exhalation, pull the knees down towards your armpits. So ground in through the shoulders, opening the chest, keeping the chin slightly tucked in, pulling the tailbone down towards the floor. The entirety of the spine is really pressing down into the mat. Take an inhalation through the nose. And exhale through the mouth, pulling the knees a little bit closer towards your armpits. Inhaling again through the nose. Exhale. One more deep collective inhalation here through the nose. And as you exhale, slowly bring the knees together. Bring the hands down by your sides. Bring the feet down towards the floor. Open the feet so that they're as wide as the hips. Legs are parallel to one another, palms facing down. Push the toes firmly into the floor. Pull the tailbone down towards the heels. Keep the chin in towards the chest. With your inhalation, slowly bring the hips up, making sure that you're keeping that slight tuck of the tailbone down. So we're using the glutes to help us lift the hips, to help us elevate, versus using the lower back. Inhale here, pressing the shoulders down into the floor, using the hands here if you'd like to for stability, pressing the palms firmly into the floor. As you exhale with control, one vertebrae at a time, bring the back down towards the floor. Take an inhalation here, reset, reconnect with your breath. And exhale through the mouth. With the next inhalation, start again by pressing the tops of the front of the feet, the toes firmly into the floor, tucking the tailbone slightly down, raising the hips off of the floor with the inhalation. At the same time, begin to extend the arms overhead with the palms facing up. Keep the chin in towards the chest. As you exhale, lowering one vertebrae at a time, begin to bring the palms back down onto the floor. Starting to move with our breath as you inhale, raise the hips up, active into the glutes, making sure the legs remain parallel, using the strength of the quadriceps to help you raise the hips a bit higher while extending the arms overhead. As you exhale, begin to lower the hips down towards the floor, bringing the hands back down alongside your body. Inhale, pulling yourself slightly up, keeping the legs parallel, working the quadriceps, pressing the toes firmly into the floor. Exhale, lowering the hips down, at the same time lowering the hands down towards the floor. One more like this. Inhale. And exhale, gently lower. Keep the hands down on the floor. Extend the legs overhead. Heels pressing up towards the ceiling, toes looking down towards you. Ground through the lower back here. Pull the navel in towards the spine. Notice what's happening with your legs. Are they starting to inch up closer towards your head? If that's the case, can you pull them a little bit more away from you so that they're parallel, rather in a straight line with your hips? Take an inhalation here. Exhale, create a micro lift here. So pushing the heels up instead of towards you. Press the hands into the floor and just gently elevate little by little, maybe a few centimeters, the tailbone off of the floor. Really starting to activate into the core. Working with your breath, inhale, raise the heels a bit up. Exhale, gently lower. Working to not press the feet towards the forehead. So we're working up rather than towards us. Inhale, raise the heels up. Exhale, lower. 2 more like this. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Cross the feet. And then using a bit of momentum, move yourself towards the front of the mat. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Bring the knees underneath the hips, coming into tabletop. And then as you inhale, drop the belly, opening the heart, gazing forward. Maybe you micro bend into the elbows to press the chest a bit further forward. As you exhale, round through the spine, bring the chin in towards the chest. Inhale, dropping the belly, gazing forward, opening the heart. Exhale, rounding through the spine, bringing the chin in towards the chest. Inhale, gazing forward. And exhale. Inhale, gazing forward, opening the heart, opening the throat. Exhale, rounding through the spine, chin in towards the chest, pulling the tailbone down. Inhaling, gazing forward. Exhale, round. Inhale, gaze forward. Tuck the toes, and with the exhalation, raise the hips up, coming into a downward facing dog, pressing yourself towards the back of the mat. Feet remain hips width distance apart. Kneecaps facing forward. You can invite a little bit of movement here if you'd like to, bending into one knee at a time, or maybe moving the hips a bit from side to side. Warming up into the hamstrings. Elongating the spine, pulling the navel in towards the spine. Release any tension in the neck, in the shoulders. Keep pressing yourself towards the back of the mat, so really active in your fingertips. Press the weight into your left foot. With the inhalation, raise the right leg. Bend into the right knee, opening the right hip. Shoulders remain facing towards the front of the mat. Left kneecap is facing forward, left toes are facing forward. And then begin to invite movement here, rotating the knee, working into the hip. Really focusing on creating this movement solely in the right hip joint. Working with your breath, allowing your breath to guide you, begin to move in the opposite direction. Check in what's happening with your shoulders. Can they be more squared? Can you press the right shoulder down a little bit more? Can you activate into your hands a bit more? 1 more inhalation here, really opening the entire right side body. As you exhale, gaze forward, shift high onto the left toes, bring the right knee in towards the right tricep. Puffing up through the back of the heart, gaze at the space between your fingertips. Inhale, extend the right leg back behind you, 3-legged dog. Hips are squared. Exhale, bend into the right knee, shift the weight forward, come high up on the left toes, bring the right knee in towards your nose. Gaze at the space between your fingertips, puff up the back of the heart. Stay here for the inhalation. As you exhale with control, drop the right foot in between your hands. Come onto your fingertips. You can tent your fingertips, or you can bring the blocks underneath your hands if you'd like to here. Either way, walk the hands a little bit further forward. Shift the weight into the right foot, and then with control, begin to bring the left leg up. So creating an L shape with the legs. The hips are squared. Notice if the tendency is for you to start lifting the left hip. Bring the left hip slightly down. Get really active in the right toes rather. Keep extending through the left leg, gaze forward with the inhalation, active in the belly. As you exhale, bend into the left knee, round through the spine, bring the knee to bells. Inhale, extend the left leg back behind you, elongating the spine, opening the heart, pull the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, round through the spine, knee to bells. Inhale, extend, gaze forward. Exhale, round through the spine, knee to nose. Staying here with this compression of the left knee to nose. Gaze a little bit forward, micro bend into the right knee. With control, bring yourself up to standing, bringing the left knee with you. Take an inhalation, elongate through the spine, bring the arms overhead in line with your shoulders. Active in the left foot, so this can mean that you point the left toes, you flex the left toes to create a demi point. Whatever it is that you need in order to make sure that the left leg is really active. Take an inhalation, elongate a bit more through the spine, reach higher with your arms. As you exhale, cross the left knee over top of the right without interlacing the legs quite just yet. Just cross the left knee over top of the right, bend into the right knee. Cactus the arms, press the chest forward. Pull the inner thighs in towards one another. We're creating a small arch of the spine here. Take an inhalation, opening the throat. Exhale, come out of the pose, bending into that right knee again, pulling the right knee up towards your chest. Extend the arms out in front of you. Keep extending the arms around through the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, gently drop the left foot towards the right, bend into both knees, coming into chair pose. Exhale, settle into the pose, shift the weight towards the heels, maybe you elevate the toes off of the floor. Inhale, opening the heart. Exhale, bringing the hands down towards the floor or towards the block, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, elongate the spine, gaze forward. Exhale, bend into the knees, drop the belly towards the tops of the thighs, relax the head. Inhale, gaze forward, creating these cat-cow movements with the spine here. But in a standing position, as you exhale, round through the spine, crown of the head works its way towards the floor. Inhale, gaze forward, elongating the spine. Exhale, bend into the knees, drop the belly towards the tops of the flaps. A few more like this. Inhale, elongate the spine, gaze forward. Exhale, bend the knees, drop the belly towards the tops of the flaps. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, bend into the knees, drop the belly on top of the thighs. This time, bring hands to opposing elbows. And just release the head. Allow the head to hang heavy. Allow the arms to hang heavy. If it's more comfortable for you, open the feet as wide as the hips. And then drop the belly in between the thighs a little bit, pulling the tailbone slightly up. You can close your eyes here for a moment if you'd like to as well. Notice the sensations you're experiencing in your body. Notice where your mind immediately goes. And then start to bring your attention back to your breath. feeling the breath as it enters your body, and then noticing it as it leaves the body. Inhale deeply, and exhale. Inhale again. Exhale, slowly unwind from the pose, bringing your hands down onto the floor out in front of you, or maybe up onto your blocks. Extend through the legs, elongate the spine, gaze forward. Press firmly into the left foot, extend the right leg back behind you, coming into that L shape now with the right leg back. Bend into the left knee with control, drop the right toes back behind. So high up on the right toes, the right heel is elevated, the left knee is bent. Lower the hips a little bit. Start to activate into your inner thighs. As you inhale, bring the arms overhead, coming into crescent lunge. And then begin to sink the hips a little bit down towards the floor, but make sure that the right hip is really pressing its way forward. You're not creating an unnecessary arch in the lower back. Pull the tailbone down, pull the belly in. Take an inhalation. If you'd like to, you can micro bend into the back knee as well if this helps keep the hips squared. As you exhale, bring the right hand out in front of you, left arm back behind, creating a twist. Gaze towards your left fingertips. Active in the glutes. Pull the glutes in towards one another. Pull the inner thighs in towards one another. Release any tension in the shoulders. Make sure the left knee isn't splaying out towards the side. Keep the left knee in line. Take an inhalation. As you exhale, bring the left hand towards the back of the right thigh, avoiding the knee. Maybe you come down towards the shin. Extend the right arm overhead. Towards the calf. Extend the right arm overhead. Check in what's happening with your left knee. Notice if you can bend into the left knee a little bit more. Inhale, opening the entire right side of your body. Exhale, bending into the right elbow, bringing the right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Bring your left hand to touch the right, and then create a twist here. Bringing the hands together through heart center, gaze towards your left elbow. Notice if you can pull the elbow down a little bit back behind. Take an inhalation. As you exhale, slowly unwind from the pose. Begin to straighten through the left leg, rotate the back foot, hands remain at heart center. Right foot goes parallel with the back of the mat, left leg is straight, left toes pointing forward. Hips towards the side of the mat. Extend the arms away from you, in line with your shoulders. Take an inhalation. Exhale, shift the weight forward, working your way towards your left fingertips. Make sure the hips and legs remain as they are. Flip the palms, open them towards the side, coming into triangle pose for Trikonasana. Bringing the left hand down towards the inside of your left foot, trying to not let the fingertips touch the floor. So using the strength of the core here to help us stay up. Active in the quadriceps. Pull the tailbone slightly down. Make sure the butt isn't poking out. Inhale. Gaze towards the right fingertips in line with the nose. Exhale, coming all the way back up. Rotate the right hand, the back hand, so the palm is facing back behind you. And then bend into the right elbow. Bring the right hand to the inside of your left thigh. As you inhale, extend the left arm away from you, towards the back of the mat. Take an inhalation, opening the heart here, corkscrew the chest a little bit towards the top. As you exhale, rotate the left toes in so that now the feet are parallel, wide-legged stance. Start to bend from the hips, bring your left hand to the outside of your right foot, and then extend the right arm overhead. Be careful in this pose to make sure that your weight isn't shifting over towards one side. You can bring your hand to your sacrum to make sure that the hips are squared. And then begin to extend the right arm overhead. Take an inhalation. Exhale, notice if you can pull the crown of the head a little bit more towards the mat. Really extending the back legs here. Inhale deeply. Exhale, bringing the hands together through heart center, bringing your torso so that it's parallel with the mat. Open the right foot, so now the right toes are facing the back corner of the mat. Open the left toes a little bit as well. So now the heels are in line, toes are facing away. Begin to bend into the left knee, working your way towards Skandasana, but not quite coming into it. So really stay active in the right leg. Press the right toes firmly into the floor. Work your sitting bones towards the back, keeping your torso parallel with the floor. Take an inhalation here. Feel as though you want to create an extension from the crown of the head through your tailbone. Pull the belly in. Exhale, shift the weight towards the back of the mat, this time coming into a full Skandasana on the right, bringing the left toes up. Right elbow to the inside of your right thigh. Extend the right arm away from your left arm overhead. Gaze towards the left fingertips. Deep inhalation here. Exhale, bring the hands together through heart center, lowering down onto that left sitting bone with control. You can use your hands if you'd like to as well to help you get down. Press the right knee so that it comes in line with the left knee. But the right knee is bent. We're coming onto the top of the right foot. Both of the sitting bones down onto the floor. Inhale, extend the arms overhead, elongate the spine, flex through the left toes. And as you exhale, bring yourself in the direction of the extended leg. This is where you can use a strap if you'd like to, if the foot feels really far from you or you feel that you're really rounding in the spine to get to the foot. The idea is that we're really bending from the hips here, so pull the belly in towards the back, towards the spine, and then pull yourself in the direction of your left toes, gazing at your left toes. Elbows remain elevated from the floor. Take an inhalation. Exhale, slowly come up from the pose. If you're using a strap, move the strap over towards the side. Bring the right knee up, opening through the right hip. And then with the hands or without, shift the weight forward, bringing your sitting bones off of the floor. Hands together in heart center. Begin to bend into the left knee, shifting the weight towards the front of the mat. Bring the right hand to the inside of the left foot. Pivot on your right toes so the right heel is up. As you inhale, extend the left arm overhead. Take an inhalation. Exhale, notice if you can maybe sink the hips down a little bit more towards the floor. Another inhalation here, gaze towards the left fingertips. Exhale, bring the left hand to the outside of the left foot. Pivot the left foot over a little bit towards your right hand. And then bend into the right knee. Shift the weight forward, drag the right foot, bring the right knee down onto the floor. Bring the right foot over towards the left, bring your sitting bones down onto the floor. Coming into Gomukhasana legs. So keep walking the left foot over towards the right. Here you can also use a block. So if the left glute is really elevated, bring a block underneath it. We're working deep into the hips here, especially the outer hips. So the idea in this pose is that the sitting bones are both grounded, whether they're both on the floor or one of them is on a block and the other on the floor. You don't want the spine to be super crooked. Bring the strap close to you if you'd like to go a little bit deeper in the shoulders. Extend the arms overhead. And then bend into the right elbow. Walk the right hand towards, into the space between your shoulder blades, towards the back of the heart. And then extend the left arm towards the left side, rotate the palm, and then bring the outer, the front of your hand, of your left hand, towards your right fingertips. And this is where you can use a strap. You can bring a strap to your right hand and then bring the strap to your left hand and begin to walk the hands towards one another. Alternatively, if it's too intense on your shoulders, you can bring your hands together in prayer behind your back. And then keep the chest open this way. Really elongate through the spine. Notice if there's any tension in the hips. Is there anywhere that you could loosen up a little bit? Inhale, deeply elongate the spine a bit more. Relax any tension in the shoulders wherever you are with your arms. And exhale through the mouth. Inhale again through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. And then either stay here with the spine extended, or if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, begin to work your chin down towards your left knee. Making sure that you're not compensating for lack of mobility in the hips by raising the glutes off of the floor. So the glutes are really glued down. Another inhalation wherever you are. Exhale slowly and with control, bring yourself back up. Unwind the arms, maybe shift them out for a moment. Bring the block towards the front of the mat again if it is under your glute. And then shift your weight forward, bringing your hands onto the floor. Shift the weight towards the right knee. Come up to the outer edge of the left foot. Walk the left foot in towards the right knee. And then begin to extend both of the legs. The left leg now takes all of the weight. Extend the right leg back behind you, coming into that L shape. Maybe using the blocks here for support underneath your shoulders. Take an inhalation, gaze forward. Exhale, bend into the right knee, round through the spine. Bring the right knee in towards the nose. Inhale, extend, gaze forward, elongating the spine. Exhale, bend into the right knee, round through the spine, bring the knee to nose. One more like this, inhaling, extend, gazing forward. Exhale, round through the spine, bring the knee to nose. And then keep this strong compression here, working the right knee towards your nose as you begin to bring yourself up to standing, bringing the right leg with you. Work the right knee up. Make sure you're not tilting back in order to work the right knee higher up. So working on the right hip flexor to really use the strength of the hip flexor to help us bring the left leg up higher towards the chest. And then get active in your right foot. This can be a flex, a point, or a dummy point. Make sure, again, the hips are also squared, so not lifting just the right hip up. Extend the arms overhead, take an inhalation. Exhale through the nose. Inhale, elongate the spine a bit more. As you exhale, micro bend into the left knee, bring the right knee over top of the left, pulling the inner thighs in towards one another, and then practicing the arms, gently pressing the heart forward. Inhale, here, gaze up if you'd like to. Exhale, extending the arms out in front of you, working the right knee back up, rounding through the spine. With control, begin to drop the right toes to meet the left, bending the knees, coming into chair pose. Take an inhalation, elongate the spine. As you exhale, extend the arms back behind you, come high onto the toes. Stay in this chair pose with the legs, but high up on the toes, extending the arms back behind you in chair pose. Inhale here, opening the heart. Exhale with control, drop the heels, bring the hands to the blocks, drop the head down towards the floor. Inhale, elongating the spine, gazing forward. Exhaling, bending into the knees, working the belly towards the tops of the thighs. Inhaling, gazing forward, elongating the spine. Exhaling, rounding through the spine, bringing the chin towards the knees, crown of the head towards the floor. One more like this. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, bend into the knees. Bring the hands to opposite elbows now. Maybe you want to open the feet a little bit wider. And then just release the neck. Allow the head to hang heavy. Bend as much as you need to into the knees here to allow the belly to rest on top of the thighs. Inhale deeply through the nose. Notice that maybe you can shift the weight a little bit more into your toes and not so much into the heels, so that you really start to feel the back of the legs elongated. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale deeply. Exhale, bring your hands towards the floor or onto the blocks. Elongate the spine, gaze forward. Take a deep inhalation here, active in the belly. As you exhale, raise the left leg back behind you, gaze forward. Bend into the right knee with your left toes, find the back of the mat. Keep the left heel elevated. As you inhale, extend the arms overhead, coming into crescent. So right knee is bent more or less in line with your right ankle. Maybe you micro bend into the left knee in order to bring the left hip further forward. Shoulders in line with the hips, pull the belly in. You'll notice that as soon as you start to activate into the belly, there's an even deeper stretch in the left hip flexor and the left psoas. Take another inhalation. As you exhale, extend the left arm out in front of you, right arm back behind you, creating a twist. Maybe you gaze towards your right fingertips. Notice if you've started to pivot the weight forward. Can you bring the shoulders back in line with the hips? Can you bend into the right knee a little bit deeper? Can you pull the belly in a little bit more? Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Another inhalation. As you exhale, begin to bring the right hand to the back of the left thigh, extending the left arm overhead, coming into an exalted crescent. Get active in the left arm. Inhale, opening the entire left side of the body. Exhale, bend into the left elbow. Bring the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Bring the right hand to the left hand. And then create a deep twist here, bringing the hands together towards your heart. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Pull the right elbow away from you. Maybe gaze towards your right elbow. Get really active in your inner thighs and your glutes here for stability. Inhale. As you exhale with control, begin to unwind from the pose, rotating the back foot so it's parallel with the back of the mat, straightening through the right knee. Right toes pointing towards the front, opening the hips towards the side of the mat, extending the arms away from you in line with the shoulders. You can check in here with your feet. We want to have heel to arch alignment. So the right heel is in line with the left arch. Gaze towards your right fingertips. Begin to shift the weight forward, opening the palms towards the side, and then dropping the right hand down towards the right shin, extending the left arm overhead. So activating the quads, especially here. Pull the inner thighs in towards one another. Take an inhalation through the nose, opening the heart. As you exhale, coming all the way back up. Rotating now the left hand so the palm is facing back behind you. Bend into the left elbow. Bring the left hand to the front of the right side. Extend the right arm back behind you. Pull the kneecaps up. Pull the tailbone slightly down. Inhale deeply. As you exhale, rotate the right foot. So now both feet are parallel. Maybe even pigeon the toes a little bit. So the toes are in towards one another, heels are out. Begin to bend from the waist. So bringing your body 90 degrees with the floor. And then extend your right hand towards your left ankle. Maybe check in here while you have your hand down by your lower back if your hips are squared. And then begin to extend the left arm overhead. Shift the weight a little bit more into your toes. Again, feeling that extension in the back of the legs and the hamstrings. Take an inhalation. As you exhale, can you pull the belly in a little bit more, helping you bring the crown of the head closer towards the floor. One more inhalation like this. Exhale, bring your hands together through heart center, bringing yourself halfway up. Begin to open the toes. So now both the toes are facing away from one another, but it's quite small. It's maybe like 45 degrees towards the outer edges of the mat. Hands by your heart, begin to bend into the right knee. Really press your left big toe firmly into the floor. You're active in your left thigh. Press the sitting bones towards the back behind you while you press your crown of the head forward, as though you have a string that's pulling you from the crown of the head through the tailbone. Keep the belly active. Make sure there's no arch in the spine. One more inhalation like this. As you exhale, shift your weight towards the back of the mat, pivoting the left foot open a little bit more, dropping down all the way into Sandasana on the left, flexing through the right toes, extending the left arm away from you, right arm overhead, gaze towards your right fingertips. If you feel that it's really uncomfortable for you to be in this position, you can always place a block under your sitting bones. Press the outer edge of your left foot firmly into the floor. Take an inhalation. As you exhale, gently drop the sitting bone, the right sitting bone down onto the floor. Pivot the left knee so that now the left knee is working its way towards the right knee. The top of the left foot is on the floor. If you want to use a strap here, bring the strap to the arch of your right foot. As you inhale, extend the arms overhead. And then exhale, bring the hands either to the strap or to your foot, bowing down towards the right leg. Inhale deeply. Exhale, working to straighten the spine a little bit more. Inhale, slowly coming all the way up, moving the strap a little bit towards the side, but towards the front of the mat, extending the arms, and then pivoting back towards the side of the mat, raising the left knee off of the floor. Bring your hands through heart center or onto the floor if you'd like to. Bring yourself back through Sandasana. Bend into the right knee, right toes facing the front of the mat. Bring your left hand to the inside of your right foot, high up on the left toes. Extend the right arm overhead. Gaze towards your right fingertips. Inhale. Exhale. Notice if you can sink the hips down a little bit more. Inhale deeply. Exhale, bring the right hand down on the other side of the right foot and begin to walk the right foot a little bit towards the left hand. Come onto the top of the left foot, drag the left foot towards the front of the mat. Bring the left knee down onto the floor on the right side of your foot. And then extend the left leg over towards the right. Bring the sitting bones down onto the floor, coming into the Mukhasana. Bit of a strange transition, but just working a little bit more into the hips today. So if you want to, you can also place a block here underneath your sitting bone if you feel that one of them is really elevated. And then once you get comfortable with the hips, both of the hips sinking down firmly into the mat, extend the arms overhead. Either stay here or begin to bend into the left elbow, bringing the left hand into the space between the shoulder blades, and then bending into the right elbow from the underside, bringing the hands together to touch. Alternatively, you can use a strap here if you would like to. Bringing the hands to the strap and then walking the fingertips towards one another via the strap. Make sure that the left elbow isn't pressing the head forward. Really use the strength of the head to push the elbow open. And then another option is bringing the hands together behind your heart in the form of a prayer. Wherever you are, notice if maybe you can relax a little bit into the shoulders. You can relax into the hips a little bit more. It's helpful sometimes to close the eyes in these positions, in these asanas, and we're in them for just a little bit longer to really connect with the sensations that we're experiencing. And then either stay here or begin to shift the weight a tiny bit forward, working the chin towards the knees. Making sure both of the sitting bones really remain grounded. Notice if there's any tension in the jaw. And then slowly bringing yourself all the way back up. Releasing the arms, shaping them out for a moment. Walking the hands forward, shifting the weight forward into the left knee. Walk the right foot in so that it's working its way towards the center of the mat. Tuck the left toes, and then extend the left leg back behind you, returning back to that L shape with the legs. Take an inhalation, elongate the spine. And as you exhale, bring the left toes to touch the right. Elongate the spine with the inhalation, gaze forward. Exhale, micro bend into the knees, dropping the head down. Inhale, bringing the arms all the way up, extending through the spine, pulling the tailbone down. Exhale, bring the hands back down onto the floor. Walk the feet towards the back of the mat. Shift the weight forward, coming into a high plank. Bend in the knees, drop the knees down towards the floor, gently arch through the spine. Begin to bend into the elbows coming in towards you, really pushing firmly into the rib cage, bringing your chest and chin down. Tailbone is high up, toes are tucked. Drop the tops of the feet towards the floor with the inhalation. Make your way into Cobra. Inhale here. Exhale, tuck the toes, bend into the knees, shift through tabletop into a downward facing dog. Bring the weight into your right foot with the inhalation, raise the left leg, bend into the left knee, keeping the shoulders squared, creating movements here. Working your legs, your left hip rather in a circle here. Right kneecap is facing forward, right toes are facing forward. And then begin to move in the opposite direction. Keeping the bent left knee, shift high onto the right toes. Shift the weight forward, bring the left knee to the outside of your left shoulder. Inhale, extend, coming into a three-legged dog. Hips are squared. As you exhale, bend into the left knee, bring the knee to nose. Gaze into the space between your fingertips. With control, place your left foot in between your hands. Walk the hands forward using the blocks or not. Bring the right leg away from you, coming into a 90-degree angle. Gaze forward, elongate the spine. Exhale, flex into the right toes. Bring the right leg out in front of you. And then you can stay here with the hands on the blocks, or you can come up a little bit higher. But basically, we're going to transition into eagle as just kind of like a finishing touch. So we can either enter it via hands on the blocks if you want for balance, bend into the left knee, interlace the legs, and then work the right toes towards the left calf. And then finding the balance here, so staying here. Alternatively, begin to raise the hands off of the blocks. Maybe just bring your fingertips to the blocks. Maybe bring your hands to your heart, still shifting the weight a little bit further forward. And then slowly coming up. So legs are still interlaced. And we'll just do eagle legs. So if it's in your practice to do eagle arms, you're more than welcome to interlace the arms, interlace the hands, and then sink down a little bit deeper towards the mat. But if you also would like to just keep the hands by your heart, it's another option. Make sure that you're not twisting in the spine. So keep pulling the left hip forward, right hip back. Bend into the knees a little bit more. Slightly tuck the tailbone down, pulling the belly in. If you are in eagle arms, notice that maybe you can pull the elbows so that they come in line with your chin. Another inhalation. And exhale, gently unwind from the pose, returning with the hands down towards the blocks, releasing the legs, extending the right leg back behind you. Take an inhalation, gaze forward. Exhale, bring the right foot down to meet the left. Elongate the spine, gaze forward with the exhalation, micro bend into the knees, dropping the belly towards the tops of the thighs. Maybe you bring your hands to opposing elbows, allow the head to hang heavy for a moment. Inhale deeply. And exhale, bring the hands back towards the blocks, extending the spine, gazing forward. This time, bringing the left leg up. So we'll just work into eagle on the other side. So entering into it, whichever way is most comfortable for you. Maybe bending into the right knee and then bringing the left knee over top of the right, interlacing. Nice, very good. And then staying here if you'd like to. You want to go deeper, really pull your inner thighs in towards one another, pull the belly in, bring the fingertips towards the blocks. And then maybe bring your hands together through heart center and bring the head up. Finding the balance here. Each side is also going to be different. Make sure you're not really tilting too far forward. Begin to bend deeper into the knees. Maybe the hands stay by heart center or interlace opposing arms. Interlacing the hands and then raising the elbows up towards the chin. Really connect with your breath wherever you are. Get really active in the legs. Pull the inner thighs in towards one another. Pull the belly in towards the spine. One more breath here. As you exhale, slowly unwind from the pose, bringing the hands back down towards the box. With control, releasing the left leg back behind you, returning to the L shape. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, flex through the left foot, bring the left foot down to meet the right. Hands can stay on the blocks, or you can bring the hands through heart center, still staying in that 90-degree angle with the body. Begin to bend into the knees. Little by little, begin to shift the weight towards the heels, extending the arms away from you, opening the knees away from one another, dropping the sitting bones down towards the floor. Bring the feet parallel with the hips, so opening them a little bit wider, and then with control, dropping the belly, dropping the back rather all the way down towards the floor. Extending the arms back behind you with the palms facing up. Walk the feet in a little bit more towards the glutes. And now we'll work in similar how we did at the beginning of class with them bridge pose, but the hands will be working the opposite from how they were before. So push the toes firmly into the floor, press the lower back into the floor, active in the belly, active in the glutes, keeping the legs parallel. As you raise the hips off of the floor, begin to bring the hands down towards the floor, extending the arms alongside your body. And then as you exhale, begin to lower the hips down, bringing the hands back up overhead. Inhale, bringing the hands down, raising the hips, really pressing the toes into the floor, using the glutes to help you elevate the hips. Exhale, bringing the sitting bones back down, extending the arms overhead. One more like this. Inhale. And exhale. Keeping the palms facing up, cactus shape with the arms so the elbows are in line with the shoulders and the palms are in line with the elbows. Bring your feet together to touch, opening the knees wide, coming into Supta Konasana. Reclined butterfly pose here with the heart open, the arms open. You can close your eyes if you'd like to. And just notice how what your breath is like, what your body feels like, where your mind is. Notice if you can bring everything back for just a few more minutes to the practice. Inhaling through the nose, directing the breath into the belly, feeling the belly expanding. And exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose. And exhaling through the mouth. One more like this, inhaling deeply through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. With the next inhalation, bringing your hands to the outside of your thighs, pulling the knees in towards one another, bringing the knees up towards your chest, interlacing the arms over top of the legs, creating this tiny egg shape here, bringing the chin in towards the knees. As you inhale, press the belly onto the top of the thighs. Hold the breath at the top. And then exhale through the mouth slowly with control as you begin to lower the back of the head towards the floor, releasing the legs away from you, releasing the arms, bringing yourself into Shavasana. With the next inhalation, begin to invite movements into your ankles and wrists. Extending the arms overhead, extending the legs. Beginning to bend into the knees, walking the feet up towards your sitting bones. Pulling the lower back down towards the floor. Gently drop the knees over towards one side. And then slowly begin to press yourself up into the seated position. Bringing the hands together in front of your heart. Taking an inhalation in through the nose, directing the breath into the belly. And exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling in through the nose, again directing the breath into the belly, feeling the belly expand. With the exhalation, we'll close class by chanting Om together. Om. Inhale deeply and exhale.